Okay, hello everybody. Thursday night, as per usual. Friday afternoon or noon for the Australians out there. Don't know who, but anywho, hopefully you're having a good whatever it is for you, and hopefully we can make it as per usual a little bit better with the Midwest F1 League back in Division One for the first time in 2023. So that's 4 calendar years now that we've been doing this for, so that's kind of crazy. But we continue on, and hopefully Division 1 can produce some exciting stuff today. And somehow we've been allowed into China to be able to use their F1 track. The city is on lockdown, or the country is on lockdown, but the racetrack is available, and we were able to take part on it. So hopefully we can produce some fun racing. But as per usual, I'm joined by my Australian counterpart. Oh, that's who's Australian. Elma Jacko, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks, Crash. How are you?
Oh, not too bad actually either. It was a pretty decent week. It was a short week for me. I had my first day off, so it was a 4 day
Oh,
week.
no.
Not too bad. Yeah. But anyhow, quickly we'll get into this here as we're a little bit late. The schedule, as you can see there, T-Brum with the win in Monza last week, Race Day with another podium, and Scornsey 6 for 6 on podiums this season, continues his lead in the Division 1 Drivers' Championship. And as you can see for yourself there, what's a big surprise for you on the Division 1 Drivers' Championship for you there, Jacko? Do you have any in mind off the top of your head?
Oh, yeah. I think we have to point out that Ryan Rodds is over 100 points back of the lead right now,
Mm.
which is a big surprise this early, and I think that's purely because did he not miss last week? Is that what I'm
Yes.
hearing?
Yeah, he was not
So
there last week.
a massive chunk of points lost by attendance there, which is really unfortunate because that was going to be another championship long battle, I thought. But unless something similar befalls those in front of him, he's going to struggle to catch that back up to the front too.
Yes, he is on track here today. He's the first one around, so once you get ready to jump on board with him in half lap's time. But yeah, we can pull up the
Yeah,
results
absolutely.
from last week there with T-Brum winning, Race Day second, Scornsey third, as said before. Aero Racing with a solid fourth, and Smith Pell with a solid fifth, and newly promoted EDA Got Palmer also with a nice top six. So some good finishes there. I did miss some DNFs at the bottom of the board. I believe Dusty Lusky down all DNF'd there. But I was going to say surprise on the Drivers' Championship. I mean, I wouldn't be too big of a surprise. The guy knows how the league works. But Cake Thomas is sitting in the highest that he's ever been in the Midwest F1 League, currently in third.
Yeah, that's impressive. I think also sad that we missed out on seeing T-Brum's maiden win in Division 1.
Mhm.
But, we might see that again before the season's out. He seems to be very capable. And in the time trial leaderboards, he's always up the top. So look for him in qualifying to rival his teammate here.
And quickly, before we have Ryan Rodds over the line, there was the Constructors' Championship for everyone that's interested. The McLaren curse seems to be quite afoot. But take it away, Jack.
Yeah, well, we're on board with the Mercedes man, Ryan Rodds. Tips it into turn 1. DRS is available on that straight before turn 1, and it's kind of tricky sometimes to turn the car without the rear snapping on you, but it seems like he managed to get it to work quite nicely through the snail sector, one of the best sectors in Formula 1. And now down to this kink here ends the first sector, and you can see obviously he's purple because no one's set it up yet. Into a hairpin, which can be an overtaking opportunity, but usually not worth it because it's a bit of a risk, and there's a DRS opportunity coming up half a lap later, which you're probably not going to get away from if you've made a pass only in the first sector. This middle sector is a pleasure to drive, very flowing, and it looks like he's nailed it quite well there. Here's the second sector split, 51.8. I'm not really sure how competitive that is, but I think it's pretty good from memory. Now into this long sweeping right-hander that gets you onto the long back straight. It's a very awkward corner. Looking for some people to spin there potentially under traction, either in their qualifying laps or in the race. DRS opportunity down towards this hairpin, and the best place on the track to make a pass, definitely on the straight before the turn or even in the braking zone if you can quite get it done. Opportunities for over and unders as well on the exit of that corner, and then the final corner can be kind of tricky. You can get some warnings there if you go wide or even cut the corner, and he was a 32.0, which is a very decent opening lap.
And closely followed by Scornsey, who's over a second behind. And that was a hot lap. He is out of ERS. So something must have gone wrong there, or that's just quite the banker that he's put in. Next over is Scavney, followed by a Haas, either on Landsy or Sharia.
Landsy's about to chuck it into the last turn, and Scavney's gone 1.1 off currently. Landsy behind that as well. So I don't think Swansea's lap is necessarily terrible. I just think it's a safe lap, and Ryan's gone all out immediately. Edgar's now gone between them, only about a tenth in front of his teammate. So I think we're just looking at a really good lap by Ryan rather than 4 laps by everyone else.
And then the teammate of Landsy, Sharia, next over the line here. And then I believe we have Edwin and then Dusty Lusky. Sharia going 10th. Edwin now goes second behind his teammate there, ahead of Scornsy and Edgar. Dusty Lusky, not Smith Pale Aero Racing. No, he's setting one right now. Smith Pale's
2x2 up the top with Mercedes, and then McLaren locking out the front 2 rows. Also a GSR top 5, even though Scornsy's not got it written there, he is a member.
Yeah, and that quite a bit of laps already. That's kind of nice to see. 14 out of 17 drivers in, setting one. We are missing an Aston Martin and an Alpine, I think you mentioned before, and a Ferrari.
Yeah, so it's light work missing from Aston Martin. I think it's Sayaines from Ferrari, and Alpine would be Tiger, I think. Not sure if they're the current drivers, but if they are listed on the roster, yeah, I think that's this one.
And the only one that was on a hot lap was Aero Racing, but he is invalid unless someone else is going for another go, which I'm not sure who would. Maybe Sharia.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know where he invalidated that, because the only place that I think is even close to being risked for that is the last turn, but clearly he's done it before that. So that's an odd one. It's not one of those tracks you see many invalidations and penalties at. Actually, the most common place to get a warning is actually in the pit entry, if you cut across it a bit too much, where we've just seen the Haas go through.
I didn't exactly catch it, but I think he did it like either just at the tail end of, or I mean, no real place to do it, the tail end of Sector 1. But he did it early on. He was already invalid by the early point of Sector 2.
Mm.
And yes, Mitch Burns is in as well. Now, this is a good pit lane to attempt a quick pass on, so we have to be wary of that. It does offer up. I mean, who did it? Was it Vettel that did it a couple of years ago, I think?
The pass into the pit lane?
Yeah. At China,
yeah, I think
even.
it was Vettel.
I remember someone last time we were actually here attempted it as well.
I think I know who that was.
Was it Bacon?
I think it was me.
Oh, it was you? Oh, okay.
I think it was. I mean, I've definitely done it recently. Whether it was in MidWest last time or not, I don't necessarily remember. Will tried going side by side in F2 as well. So there's plenty of people trying it, obviously inspired by that Vettel moment.
Or your moment.
Well, no, Vettel did it first, so...
I mean, it seems like blatantly obvious now after he's done it, because it seems so wide and appealing to do it.
I think Alonso did it before that, but not when they did it in China. It was kind of comparable. But yeah, that was under safety car as well, which was even more cheeky. The Vettel.
Oh.
The grey area in the rules of.
Okay, so we have quite a few guys starting another go here. Scornsy, Ryan Rods, and then Smith Pell as well, going for their second attempt. Edgar's close to follow, just finishing up the final couple turns of Sector 3, and he'll be going at it. We'll see what Scornsy can do. Do you want to keep an eye on Ryan Rods and see if he's going to go under on his time?
Okay.
Right now, Scornsy only beating his first sector score by a tenth.
Ryan is 200th down on this previous.
Oh.
Not quite flat through the sweepers in the middle sector. Very close, a bit of a feather.
Maybe already not happy with how his first sector's turned out. Scornsey coming through sector 2. Picks up a 10th and a half.
Now 200's up.
Oh, what?
Actually, very fine margins for Ryan, because this is basically a repeat of his previous lap. 200's down then up, and they're basically the same.
Oh, yes. I thought you said tenths for the first. I'm not sure why.
No, 100.
I was thinking like, wow, yeah. 2 tenths, he must have really botched the first sector there in comparison, or he just absolutely crushed it the first time around. I mean, what's your take on the... Oh, and Scornsey invalidates on the final turn, and that would have put him at... it would have put him in second.
Wow. Further improvement from Ryan.
Oh, my goodness.
What were you going to ask?
The sunshades, I guess, or the rain shade for the stands, how different they are.
Yeah, I think it's good to have unique designs at tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You can get, nice shots and nice footage of, different backgrounds and easily identifiable tracks. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Whether it's a reflection of the rest of the country, I'm not really
yeah.
confident I can say that's the truth.
Yeah.
But, at least you know which track you're at, from just a still photograph.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
There's some trouble happening in the middle sector, by the way. We've had race day around. We have Mitch Burns now recovering from off the track. So it looks like there's not quite enough downforce for some of these guys. They'll chuck in the car and it's not quite sticking. At the limit of adhesion, you might say, and over the limit.
So Dusty Lusky will improve up to 10th. Aero Racing into the pit. Is that race day? Yes, it is.
I was talking to Dusty before this session, and he wasn't too confident in his setup, I wouldn't say. So I don't think that this is one of his favourite tracks. Let's put it mildly at that. He's not had the greatest of his success in his previous 2 encounters at this track on this game. So I think he'll be pretty happy if he can get into the top 10.
And now Dace, we'll see where he can improve up to. Goes just behind Scornsey in 6th, or for 6th. Edgar.
Three drivers within that 9/10 off mark sort of area. Palmer down to Dace. Edwards now jumped back up to P2 with a lap only 5/10 off his teammate.
And Sharia coming over the line. And he does improve, but does not get any positions there. Close to Bacon now, but still in 15th place as it stands. Cake and Arrow still yet to set a time. I don't think, don't believe anyone's
We should mention,
on
of course, that this was the track that Ryan secured his first Drivers' Championship in MidWest P1. Because if you remember, Scabney led for most of that season, and then this was the finale in that one that was decided by 1 point.
Yeah,
or a draw, but 1 point basically.
Yes, where unfortunately I wasn't able to make that one. I wasn't able to be at the finale. It was rough. What did I have? It would have been a good reason. Like I wouldn't have. I only missed.
That would have been a good reason.
I only missed for like big things. April 14th. I think I was visiting my grandparents for the first time since COVID. Yes, I believe so. Oh. Camposanto. I think that's it. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. You've joined a good one here. I honestly don't mind the Chinese track. I mean, what's your opinion about it? Like, remove the flag and remove the scenery and just the track itself.
The track itself is wonderful. It's Definitely top three for me.
Oh.
Of modern tracks, I'm saying modern is in like, ones since maybe the 2000s. Probably the second best. Then Singapore's probably better, but then there's like Valencia, which you maybe in there as well, but ones that are still around, China for sure. Don't forget that Malaysia was 90, so it doesn't come into that bracket, but otherwise I would say Malaysia was better. But then there's like the traditional tracks, Silverstone, Spa, Monaco. You can't really argue that China has a place over that, but it's just a great track. The variety of corners. The straight's a bit long, but other than that, it's great.
Yeah, so he, the man who designed...
Smith Pell just got disqualified.
Oh. Decided for blocking the pit lane. He must have spun or something.
Yeah.
So, the track was designed by Herman Teich. Tilke, it is Tilke. Okay. Yeah, and he also had hands for designing many of the most recent tracks.
I think he's designed every track since like 96 or something like that, and also reprofiled some tracks like Nürburgring.
He's designed Sepang International, Bahrain, Shanghai, Istanbul Park, Valencia Street Circuit, Marina Bay Street Circuit, Yas Marina, Korea International, and Bud International.
All of them fantastic tracks. He gets a lot of flack for some reason, but they are good tracks. All of them, actually.
From what I've like seen some videos on, is because a lot of them are fairly similar to each other. A lot of them have like back-to-back like DRS zones or like long straights. What else? It's been a while since I've watched it. That's the one thing that stuck out to me with a lot of his tracks that he's made.
Well, they were originally not made for having DRS, don't forget.
Well, back-to-back long straights. There he goes. Dace on no, he's starting one. Edgar is just finishing, seeing if he can try and improve up above his teammate in Ryan Rods, and he will at least get his teammate into the front row. 2 Red Bulls coming over. Impossible starting a hot lap, and Sharia as well starting a hot lap. Mitch Burns is invalid. Lancey to start. Scavney as well. So a lot of these guys are loading up for their final go. Doesn't seem like many of them are actually on it. Other than Aero Racing, of course. But he is way off of his time. He's just putting over a time to start ahead of... Well, I mean, he's going to start ahead of Smith Pell anyway with the disqualification. Has he mentioned anything in chat there? I didn't see anything in Discord.
I haven't seen yet, but I am aware that some drivers have been disqualified for just basically being in the pit lane and slow because cars are coming. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
dumbest thing the game does is fucking block in the pit lane with DSQ, yeah. There's some serious swearing going on in 2 lines of text there from Smith Pell.
Yeah.
So don't blame him for.
Okay, here
Race Day popped himself up there into 3rd place, splitting the McLarens. And Scornsy is done with the session. While he's 5/10 off with a 32 that would be, it is a massive improvement on his previous attempt at this track, which was maybe a month or so ago in Coleslaw Cup, because he only managed a 33.2 back then. Ryan Rods did a 31.8, which he is not beaten this time, so it's still enough though, by a significant margin.
And Edwin.
The margin has closed as Edwin joins his teammate on the front row, but it's still a pretty decent margin.
Yes, Cake going 13th, Impossible going 10th. Sharia now. Dace was invalid on his last one, so he just came right into the pit. Mitch Burns is well invalid. Lancey and then Scavney to follow.
Dusty's also pulling a lap.
But Lancey over, will improve to 8th. Scavney extending the line as much as possible by pixels, as it seemed, over into 10th. As you said before, Dusty currently just up on his time right now.
Yeah, but he got a massive tank slapper going on there on the run onto the straight, so he may be compromised. There was whole, what is it, a kilometre long straight, I believe? One of the longest there is. we'll see if he's still able to beat his time. I think it's going to be tough to improve his position though.
Maybe could have taken a bit more out of the turn there, and he will go 10.
Oh, he does actually. He grabs 2/10. Out of fuel as well. Great timing on that.
Yeah. And that'll be it for qualifying. So a Mercedes front row lockout. Scornsey sitting in 5th. Edgar actually outdoing him as he's coming back to try and help that McLaren Papaya Orange. Up and trying to vault the Mercs in the #1 spot in the Constructors' Championship. It got Palmer with a respectable 7th as well, as the Alfa Romeo duo are pretty high up there within the first 4 rows.
Yeah, unfortunately, Aero Racing were designing the only car that didn't manage to set a lap there, so he and Smith, I imagine, won't be available to get the hardest charger point. I don't know how that ruling is with Smith, actually. I imagine he can't get it.
I think we had a couple join after as well. I think I saw extras in the queue.
Oh, okay. Okay, anyone from 16th down will not be in contention for that point.
But once again, to roll through the qualifying here, a Mercedes front row lockout there with Ryan Rods and Edgar in 3rd alongside Race Day. Scornsey and Hawk Sid in 5 and 6. Hawk Sid has been performing fairly well since he's got the promotion up to Division 1. As has got Palmer, Lancey as well in the top 10 in the points championship and in qualifying here. Daced and Dusty Lusky round out your top 10. And we see Scavney, Impossible Bacon, long-time Division 1 drivers there. Sharia and Mitch Burns, Cake Thomas, and Aero Racing Design with Smith Pell bringing up the back with the disqualification. I'm not sure if there's going to be more. I thought I saw a couple of people at the bottom after the lobby ended there. But I'm not sure if that just does that every time. We'll see. I know you're curious, Jacko, and Canada ended up winning the World Juniors in overtime over Czechia with a 3-2 win.
Yeah.
I know you were asking about it before, so.
What was that?
I don't know if you were there, but yeah.
What? You didn't even say what sport it was.
And hockey.
Okay.
See, why does this guy get to design all the tracks? Like, I mean, he's got to have some sort of like proper resume to do so. But is there like no one else in the world that has like a decent resume?
I'm sure there is, but he's got the experience. He knows what facilities and homologation is required for the safety and for the whatever else you need at a Formula One track.
Oh, it seems like he had hands on with the Las Vegas street circuit as well.
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like he's got involvement in all the recent ones, or at least as a consultant, if not the main designer.
He did one in Kazakhstan as well. Then what would you? Are you disappointed?
Is Baku not on his list?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you had a list of his tracks there.
I didn't see. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't see Baku.
Okay.
He did one in British Columbia. That's where. Oh yeah, Baku City. Yeah, Baku City Circuit.
Yeah,
2016. Yeah, Vancouver Island. Well, I'll be. I need to look at this now. Vancouver Island Street. Wait, no, was it Vancouver Island Motorsport Circuit? Oh, that's an interesting one.
All right. Well, expect to see a lot of these drivers on mediums. There's no rain forecast here, so no reason to go for anything else. Softs will not last particularly well. You could do a soft to hard, but it's not going to be. You're going to be putting yourself out in traffic if you're up the front. So most of the front runners will put mediums, I imagine. Then we're going to see hard tire for the rest of the race. Probably get a good 16 laps out of mediums, but you don't need to go that far. Maybe pit around 11 to 13. There'll be people on the alternate strategy, hoping that there's no safety car in the first 6 laps. It'll screw them over.
Oh, Pork Chop's hit with the 2-year sub with his prime. 2 years. Nice. Wow.
Didn't he be concentrating on his own race?
Yeah, true enough. Quickly, while we have everyone come around for the formation lap here, we'll check on the Division 2 Drivers' Championship. Shelly the Turtle currently leading it, and the GOAT in second. Unbelievable.
Wow, VTEC.
Yeah, the guy.
And Nikki as well.
Nikki. And Houdini's up there, too. But, of course, they've got a couple really quick guys behind them, and T. Brum and Kelly Robb. And once they start going and racing more, and as well, they also just got Josh SR5 or Josh Senior 5, just newly promoted from fast track through Division 3. So that division is just ever getting faster there. Constructors.
Shelly with a decent lead there, though.
Yeah, no, Shelly, he's looking good. The Constructors Championship, AlphaTauri leading the way. The Mercedes not too far back. A proper Constructors Championship battle there in Division 2. Why isn't the loop track playing? It might be. Yeah.
I have been surprised. Ryan is on hards. He's split the strategy, which I guess is a good idea for the Mercedes team. But as a championship contender, this is super risky. I mean, he still has 100 points behind, but I still want to call him a championship contender. If you get a safety car in the first, I'm going to say between like laps 4 and 8, he's absolutely screwed, unless there's one later.
Yeah.
But race day is in the same boat, and he is definitely a championship contender as well. So look for Scornsey, Hoxhead, those sort of guys to get past race day early. Race day and Ryan will be just hoping that there's no safety car at all, or one that's suited to their pit stop strategy. Yeah,
and then you saw the Constructors Championship battle there in Division 3, and Electric Blade, Guitar Man Khan, and Posh Josh in the 1, 2, 3, with Pork Chops on the outside looking in for the promotion from Division 3 to Division 2. But to the action we go.
And also a quick hello to Mother Ellie, who's just joined the chat.
I want no sass today, Mother Ellie. I want to have a
Direct
nice...
all the sass to Crash. That's the way we do it.
I want to have a nice, relaxing, fun Thursday race. Okay?
Sass McQueen.
Sass McQueen.
So this will be interesting off the line as well. Do the Mercedes work together? As a Red Bull goes completely sideways in the background. Was that bacon? It must have been.
It had to have been.
Does the medium just launch straight past? And what does Edgar do in all this as well? This is kind of crazy.
Yes, and it is about to get underway here. Reinrod's setting a blistering qualifying in comparison to the rest of the field. And we'll see if he can get off well on these hards. Are they going to be cool? He's got a nice little angle into turn 1, but his
fantastic
teammate...
start from Edgar. Watching him to go past both Mercs. Actually, no, he gets caught up completely, has to back off. And it's his teammate that comes charging through the middle. Race Day has tumbled down the order from, I think, was he 4th or 3rd? He's now 7th, either
4th.
way. And indeed, the Mercedes are side by side, but Ryan looks to have re-established the lead after briefly losing it, even with the hard compound.
Sherry is around.
Yeah. Lost it at the exit of the snail, and they're still side by side up front. Space left for the... Oh, there's contact between the two Mercs.
Oh, Scornsey.
Scornsey's got his nose in there and takes advantage of it.
Oh, Scornsey.
Still got Edwin next to him, though, to his right, but the inside will come back to the McLaren man.
Oh,
you have to leave space, though, and the traction will be better for Edwin around the outside. Again, still has his nose alongside for this next braking zone, but backs out of it sensibly. And that allows Ryan to remain in the lead. And I think that's going to be key. That was the most vulnerable he was going to be, at least until DRS is available. But we'll see how that pans out later on. Landsy's moved up. He's also on the hards, right behind Race Day.
Smith Pell's off as well.
Palmer. Dusty's also having a duel with Palmer, who seems to be going backwards.
Oh, and Palmer breaks really deep, very deep, and swings it around the outside, trying to get that possession back on Palmer.
Contact in front of them.
Yeah.
Dusty's still with Palmer, but Palmer has the inside. What's Dusty going to do? Sweeps around the outside.
Ooh,
Great
Lancey.
move, and Lansey had to get out of the throttle massively. It's kind of chaotic in the midfield here.
Yeah, so 2 drivers finding difficulties there through lap 1. I did catch a little bit of history there on Got Palmer and Race Day. So Race Day got overtaken by Hoxton, and Palmer was trying to as well get him. And I think there was a little bit of accidental contact between those 2 guys, which led to Palmer dropping down a couple positions. And Lancey ended up jumping through there, but now he's found a little difficulties, and he's all the way back. Palmer supporting
now Scavney dueling with Palmer.
Is that Lando Norris's helmet?
Yeah, you can get that in the pit pass.
Yeah, I was going to say that looks exactly like Lando Norris's quadrant helmet.
We've got some yellows here for Aero facing the incorrect direction, unfortunately.
Oh. It seems like there's been a truce agreed between Motherelli and I.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. This could be a step to better things.
Palmer all over the back here
Yeah.
of Scavney. Surely he's going to be looking to make a move on this long straight. There's no DRS yet, but he's certainly close enough to make a move. Further yellows in the background.
Oh.
That'll be for Cake this
yes.
time, losing the rear. Very easy place to make a mistake. Defense from Scavney. Scavney actually on the hard tyre as well, so he has not got the rubber to make the defensive manoeuvres. Palmer is again on the inside for the last turn, second lap in a row, that he's not had the traction around of the outside driver and loses the position. But Oaken's now having a run at him.
Yeah, so that was virtually a cookie cutter of what took place last lap. Palmer broke extremely late there into turn 14. And then ended up getting the inside for the final turn of 16 and then not getting the position in the end. Scavney doing a very good job. Impossible Bacon, I'd like to see some proper finishes from him. He's been on the wrong foot for quite a few races this season.
He's had the severe end of bad luck, from what I can tell at least. Even looking at his F2 footage, but he's not been in F2 that many races this season and just got embroiled in complete chaos. And that's been pretty much the same thing for him in Division 1. Just such an unlucky driver. It's really remarkable how much of a magnet he is to the bad luck.
Okay, so here we go. Once again, Palmer now having a chance on Scavney. And Palmer will have the DRS on Scavney here as a virtually wheel-to-wheel exiting that turn 13 swirl. And Palmer with the added pace even before the DRS window opens already has the position on Scavney. Scavney will slot in behind and will drop down to 10th place. Now Palmer is going to try and work on taking down another hard compound driver, that being Dace.
Importantly though, the top 5 have broken away. Decent margin over race day and 6th race day, of course, on the hards, which makes sense. But there is a hard driver, of course, in the lead. So demonstrating the pace he had in qualifying, they're still here in the race.
Yes. So let's see.
Currently
Race
looking
day.
at 3 places gained by Dusty, the most of anyone, up to 7th.
We're going to play a little game here, Jacko. No sneak peeking at race day. Is his ERS deployment over or under 7? Or his battery?
I mean, he's got to be over 7, surely.
Oh my god, he's actually at 65. What in the world? This is a new man.
He's evolved.
I do not believe it. I truly do not believe it. Wow.
Meanwhile, Dusty behind him is only on 24.
Wow. So Dusty's definitely
not
pushing.
a track that it recharges quickly, so race day absolutely turned a new leaf.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Wow.
In fact, does he have the most? Oh no, Ryan 68. Take 68. Okay, no, Sharia 95. I was going to say.
So.
But yeah, ooh, side by side, Palmer and Dace.
Yeah.
Dace down the inside. There's further contact on the exit.
It's the same thing.
Dace actually making the move here with hards. Oh no, this time Palmer pulls out of the move. Smart. To get DRS here as well, so this might work out for him.
He's learned.
And the number 8 charges past. Good move there into turn 1. However, he has got a flashing ERS light, so that isn't promising for him. Although Dave doesn't have much to work with either, so that might be safe.
No, I'd imagine God Palmer definitely learned from his first two times around doing that. Like the same thing.
It's also just like really important the driver on the outside doesn't turn in on you, because if they do, you might just spin. So it's definitely a lot less risky to just pull out of that and go for the DRS move into turn 1.
Yeah, but 3 times in a row he went around the outside in turn 14, and then the first 2 times he had the turn 16 down the inside line but couldn't get the run out, and then learned his lesson and then slotted it behind and then got the overtake. Easier than the first 2 times around.
To be fair, it's a testament to the nature of the drivers in this field that they can do that without running into each other.
Yes.
There are several leagues out there where that would have just been collision, and one of them's facing the wrong way.
So Bacon seems maybe a little bit too far back here, unless he really is going to go for it. Might be an absolute launch of a move down the inside. He says thank you very much, and he does that up through Scavney, and Scavney gives way, and Lancey is out and around a little bit and loses a position to Mitch Burns. And Impossible up to 10th, Lancey down to 13th, and the 2 AlphaTauris find each other.
The top 5 still nose to tail, no change in recent laps, but you can see that the ERS for Ryan is actually more than anyone else in the pack, which is incredible to think that he's the one defending, not having DRS, and he can still manage to have that much in reserve, which indicates that he's either getting fantastic exits or his wings are just lower, which is even more impressive given the margin he had in qualifying. Yeah,
he definitely has a good feel for this track here. But now, if
maybe Edwin's just rear gunning for him, and it could be that.
Yeah, I was gonna say here. So this is very helpful to Edwin just pulling out there out of the slipstream. For Scornsy, I mean, what would be the best thing to approach this? I mean, it'd be so tough to overtake Edwin. He's got more batter than you. Obviously, you don't know that, but he's getting the toe every time from Ryan Rods. It's almost like you need to really. I mean, Edwin needs to make
this might be the move.
Yeah, is he gonna go for it?
Okay. Well, the thing is, from Scornsy's perspective, he doesn't need to do anything. He's got a massive championship lead over the guys in front of him. His closest rival is in 6th currently, so maybe he doesn't need to risk anything. If he wants to win the race, then maybe he can make a move either in the pits or if he feels confident enough on the long straight there. But risk versus the reward, I don't know if it's even worth it.
Yeah. Got Palmer moving up quite nicely in the drivers' rankings here. Now up to 7th, overtaking Dusty Lusky, the solo Ferrari man. And now got Palmer looking to see if he can try and close that gap on his teammate here. He's found quite a groove now as this race has opened up.
The thing that's super important though is if a safety car comes out, you've got teammates running right behind each other in 3 places in the top 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's different obviously being on hards and mediums, but you still don't want to be caught out by that. No matter whether you're Ryan, Edgar, or Palmer.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like an early safety car from Ryan Rods could be awful for his strategy, and it could even be worse now with him sitting in behind Edwin.
That's right, absolutely.
Unless Edwin were to give him the right of way for the pit, but then that would.
Even then, he wouldn't make it to the end on mediums if it happened right now. He needs another few more laps to pass before it becomes viable.
Yes. I'm curious when these hards are really going to start taking over.
Ooh. Well, I'm looking at the gap between 5th and 6th to get that indication, and it's still climbing. Now, of course, Hoxhead does have DRS to pull him further away.
Yeah.
But the gap is sort of equalising more and more with each passing lap. So I think the crossover will be probably around lap 10. The mediums actually have quite a lot of longevity here. which is not what you'd expect. China's historically been a very high wear track, but on this game, not so much, other than the softs. The softs are just kind of awful at this track.
Yeah, so Dusty Lusky already losing 2 seconds now to Gott Palmer, and Gott Palmer is slowly chipping away at that gap to his teammate there on race day.
Yeah, Dusty might have his tire pressures a bit too high because Dave's is catching him on hards. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here with Dusty. As I said in qualifying, it's not his strongest track, and he wasn't too confident in his setup, and it might be that that's coming around again here.
It's kind of similar to that 2020 season where it was Mercedes, Red Bull, and then McLaren, and then everyone else.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you've got the strongest guys in the same teams, it's inevitable, right? Which is odd. I think that it kind of shows us that Edwin and Edgar may have backed off in order to get themselves teammates in the top 7 last season, which is not an unheard of idea.
Well, this as well as is a rematch of last season's Constructors' Championship too.
Yeah, this is true. But I mean, those drivers, Edgar and Edwin, are better than where they ended up last season.
They did miss quite a bit of races, though.
That's true.
Yellow in Sector 3, that seems to be Mitch
there
Burns.
for Mitch Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he waits for Sharia to go past before rejoining. Oh, actually, Kate came past as well. I mean, not that dangerous, but a little bit dangerous. Aero might have himself involved in this as well. Not quite close enough, but it's always terrible when you see a car recover and it recovers right in front of you, and then it slows you down for a bit as well because its tyres are hot and you can't quite, put the traction down.
So here we go. Gott Palmer has nearly crept into that DRS detection zone. Needs a good Sector 2 here to try and get him inside of it.
What's interesting here is that the Mercedes guys looks like they're trying to break away from the McLaren. It was almost a second there. A tiny mistake from Ryan, apexing a bit too hard actually onto the curb. Probably made it possible for Sponty to stay within, but that did get quite close.
Oh, Ryan Rod's nearly knocking the back of his teammate there. That was very close.
He wanted to have a quick raid of the rear wing there, I think.
Ah.
Yeah.
He was check. What are you running on the back end? Oh, okay.
He needs to check his eyes at the optometrist. He's like, nah, I'll just read the rear wing.
Yeah. Another yellow
Further
there in
yellow
Sector
flags.
3.
This time
The other
it's
Alpha.
another Alpha Tauri. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually gets himself fully behind the barrier there. Kind of impressive.
That makes me think that there's some sort of sniper above turn 16.
Sniper.
He was just not happy with the AlphaTauris for whatever reason. Possibly could be Danny Korea. Could be Danny Korea.
Manages to get himself in front of Mitch. Yeah, that's an interesting joke he put there. Danny Korea, the torpedo known for his manoeuvre at turn 1 this track several years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, good reference there. Good reference.
As well, I'm saying a former AlphaTauri driver.
Well, no, he would have been a Toro Rosso driver.
No, he had 1 year in AlphaTauri.
Oh, was it AlphaTauri?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year at AlphaTauri. You're right. Now, gap between opposite and race day is pretty much even now. So I think we've found our crossover time. The hards are now just as good, if not better, than the mediums. And we'll see if Ryan re-overtakes his teammate here. I think it was just kind of helpful to spread out the pack by having the faster Mercedes in front, but now it might be the other way around. And
Scorsese is just holding on here to this DRS train. Another yellow in Sector 3, this time a Haas.
Yeah, I think that's Sharia having struggles putting the power down onto the long straight. Very tough corner once again. I think we saw Cake lose it there earlier in the race.
Oh, there we go. Race day's actually into the pit.
Okay, now is this a wing change, or is this he believes he can get 16? What is this? 18 laps out of mediums? That is
bold.
Yes.
Bold and brash.
That's the right word for that. There's no wing change. This is planned.
It is the
I
mediums.
would not have said 18 laps was the best idea. But,
Do you
we'll
maybe
see if it works for him.
maybe think he was on the mediums? And then
What do you mean?
he like thought, oh, okay, he's on the mediums, so he's gonna pit. And then when he gets into the pit, he's like, oh no, I'm on the hards, and then switches to the.
Well,
mediums.
no, like the engineer in the race would not have suggested him to do that, and I would have
That was just a joke, but yeah.
Well, I'm trying to make so you can't mislead the damn spectators like that, Crash. They don't have the game.
Oh. We've got some of the smartest.
Either way, race day has come out
viewership.
16th. He's going to be in traffic. I can't believe this is an optimal strategy. I mean, 16 laps is struggle enough on these tyres, but 18 when there's no safety car to have made him attempt it.
But
I
now
get it.
Edgar's lost the train to his teammate Scornsey there. And Scornsey has used up pretty much all of his battery just to try and keep up with these Mercs who are just toying him along, as it seems. But, I mean...
if you want to watch some action, you should get on board with race day. He's about to pass Smith Pell, and he's going to be the man on the move in the next few laps with cars not so far up the road. Here he goes, down the inside. There was a bit of a wobble there from Smith Pell. Not sure if that was trying to discourage the move or not, but either way, it is complete. 15th now for race day. Who still has more than 7% ERS.
He may have been dodging the sniper bullet.
Yes, it's true. Into the pits there for Sharir in the background. More of a normal strategy. Goes 11 laps on mediums and now will take 17 lap hards the rest of the way.
I mean, not the worst. You're last. You might as well pit first and just get some clean track and just focus on putting in proper times.
Absolutely. Those would have been heated tyres if you remember he spun quite recently as well. So might have been the right time to just get off them and try to have a bit of more of a clean stint on hards.
Yeah, we'll see what Days can do here. As you said, these mediums and hards are getting very close to each other on speed, and now Days is was within a half a second here to Dusty. He is fairly drained of ERS, and Dusty having about the same amount.
It'd be interesting to see who goes first into the pits out of Scornsey and Edgar, being both on the mediums as teammates. Edgar's got back within that DRS zone as well, importantly.
Days sitting in the slipstream here on Dusty. I think he's going to be too... Oh, what
into the
we
pits
got
now
there?
for Edwin.
Yep.
And Scornsey.
Edgar stays
and
out.
Oxy.
And got Palmer. It's impossible.
Yeah, so expect Edgar in next lap then, and Ryan probably going to go another maybe 4 to 6 laps. Now, where does Race Day come out in this? He's bottled up behind the two Alpha Tauris right now, and neither of them enter the pits. They'll probably make a move on Scavney here, but...
Scavney's got a little toe as well.
Anyone in the pits? No, that could have been kind of dangerous.
Yeah, so now Race Day catching a little bit of DRS train, really pushing it around the outside line here into turn 1, 2, and now jumping down the inside into 3. Not much room there. Gets his elbows out, and Scavney just giving enough room for him to get alongside, and will take the position up into 13th place as he tries to work his way back up the order. But the drivers that he was, I guess, in competition with, I mean, he was 5 seconds back.
And those 3 that pit really fed themselves into a great spot. 7 seconds behind the next car, but right in front of the pack that's behind. So really well done by Edwin, Scornsey and Hoxhead to get that in the right window. Edgar will hopefully for him slot in front of Cake as well. Even if he can stay in front of Hoxhead from before, that would be great for him. If he can't though, he may find himself detached from that group.
Race Day getting the other AlphaTauri there. Now picking up into 12th place and sees another hard compound up ahead of him. But, like I said, a proper little DRS train, so he's got to make the moves.
Eddie's in the pits, as we expected. This will be key to see where he emerges. Dusty continues an extra lap. So maybe it wasn't the overheating tyres that was having his gap to Race Day. Was it Race Day or Palmer? Palmer increasing fewers.
Now Race Day right on the back of 2 drivers here, Cake Thomas and Aero Racing Design. Cake Thomas
On
is
each
going to be
side.
left in the dust. Arrow Racing up through the middle, or sorry, on the inside line. Cake Thomas left through the middle, and Race Day will be able to get
Edgar
him.
came out right with Scornsy, like they're side by side as we speak. That's kind of worked out very well for Edgar then. He can stay with his teammate because they're in the warm-up phase of the cards will take quite a while. So he can stay within DRS for the next sector.
Ooh, a big lunge from Race Day as he continually tries to work his way through. Arrow Racing has the inside line lined up and forces Race Day to go all the way around, and he's going to accept that invitation. Does go and will jump down the inside line and will pick up the position in the end. Race Day will have to concede, and now down to 10th place as Arrow Racing finally works his way through that big pack of hard compound drivers there.
Race Day has actually managed a massive undercut here because if you remember, he was 4.4 behind Hoxid. He's now 1.6 despite having to make all those moves. So he certainly brought himself back towards that pack and he might catch it. But I don't know if his tyres are going to last.
Yeah. Dace with the move now on Lusky.
Yeah. Dusty will probably hit this lap though. One of very few drivers still out there on mediums. Yeah, here he goes. Just leaves Cake there on mediums and Race Day, who only put them on recently.
I imagine we're going to see Cake in and another little oversteer there from an AlphaTauri, as it looks like Mitch Burns was dodging the sniper bullet as well.
The sniper's got a lot of bullets available to him.
He went to the store before he came to the... Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay, Scavney, close, but not quite close enough to Cake there. As Cake holding off the two AlphaTauris. Cake's going very deep on these mediums, I must say. He's over halfway. He's going to be over halfway done this race by the time he needs to pit.
Lanzy's been catching Dace, but he lost about 5/10 there, catching himself because he got very sideways and did well to steady his ass there from pirouetting into oblivion.
You know, next time we come around turn 16, or maybe even through turn 9, if I can get on board with someone, I might be able to catch a good look to see if we can see that sniper glint.
I should point out here that Edwin's found 2.9 seconds over Scornsy, so somewhere in that, I think that was in the pit phase where Edgar and Scornsy sort of went side by side a little bit. The gap just increased, and that's completely detached the McLarens now from at least one Mercedes, and I think the other one's going to come out probably behind Edwin, but with tyres that should carry him back towards the front duel. So it looks like a Mercedes 1-2 currently net, but we might see Ryan have to make some moves to make that happen.
And we can't count out Hawksid yet either. He's looking fairly good as well.
Yeah, he said he's been sitting there stalking the McLarens, not making any attempts at moves, but you know, I'm not sure he has the ERS to do that even if he wanted to. He's got less than both of them.
So the interval right now between Scornsy and Ryan Rods is about 24 seconds and just kind of hovering there.
Yeah, and the pit delta is about 22 to 23 seconds at this track.
So, yeah, you stole the question right out of my mouth. I was going to see if you had that written down.
Yeah. In fact, I had this race only about 6 hours ago myself in a different league. So, yeah, I do know it's probably closer to 23, but it's still less than 23 seconds.
Oh, so you had an early morning this morning then?
Indeed I did.
A nice cup of coffee to get you going?
Not a coffee man myself, but definitely had a hot drink. Yeah. So lap 16 concludes in 1 corner's time here for Ryan. When will he pit? And the answer is right now. So, let's find out. 12 laps on mediums, definitely plausible. Probably exactly what I expected. I was going to say this lap or the next lap. Question is, where does he come out? And I think that will be 4th place behind his teammate.
Yes, looking so. Got Palmer picking up the position on Scavney.
Dace takes the lead. Plus the pit. Lanzy goes through as well. And Edwin comes through. Now where's Scornsy in this? Not particularly close. and the mediums will fire up quicker than the hards did. So Ryan shouldn't have much trouble defending the 2-second gap he's got there, and looks promising for him. Honestly, I think Ryan is definitely looking good to win this race.
Yeah, things probably have gone about as hoped for him here in China. I mean, everything's pretty much lining up, and I imagine in the strategy that he was hoping for.
Yeah, he left himself open there to a safety car at the wrong time, but it didn't happen, and now he's just looking good. There's not much else to really say about that. Safety car now would be helpful for him. Wouldn't necessarily be helpful, but it wouldn't be unhelpful, let's say. It would definitely be helpful for Dace and Lanzi.
Oh, Hawksid's around.
Oh, no.
Oh.
He's been having such a great race.
Yeah.
Really early in that part of the track as well.
Yeah.
We're going to see Edwin passing Lanzi here with DRS. Shouldn't be challenged much. Good move.
Yeah, so race day
enters the pits now.
Race day just got DRS on Hawksid, and then Hawksid could not finish turn 13. And yes, like you mentioned, Dates into the pit, and we should see Lanzi fairly soon as well.
Yeah, Lanzi, one of the last drivers out there on cars he started the race on. There are a few more behind, but he's the only one in the top 6 to do so, and he's hoping for yellow to make that strategy better for him, but he's got no grip, and here comes Ryan with those fresh mediums blasting around the outside, and it's a great move. And he's already within DRS of his teammate. There's no hurry to make that move either. He's just sailing away to what looks like it's going to be a victory.
I'm very curious to see how these mediums are going to work for race day here. After making so many moves so very early, he's still got 10 laps to go on these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a risk. He was always looking good for 6th. That's prior to Hawksid having his mistake, so it would have been 5th. Assuming Hawksid still made the same mistake if he didn't put pressure on him.
Yeah.
But this is just risky. As a championship contender, you shouldn't risk so many points. If he needs to make another pit stop or gets a puncture, it could be disastrous for him. So hopefully he knows what he's doing and he's planning this to perfection, and he can manage those tyres. As Ryan takes the lead already. Yeah, we'll see what race day has up his sleeves. But hopefully he can manage those tyres well, as we know, like someone like Scabney can. Now up front, I expect the Mercedes drivers did that on purpose so that now Ryan can pull Edwin along and have no trouble from behind. Edwin's already increasing the gap behind him anyway, so he shouldn't be under too much threat. Lanzi and Aero are now in the pits for their sole pit stops, which I believe that ends the pit stop phase.
Yeah, race day just cannot close this gap down to try and get into DRS to this front pack here. He's a 1.5 seconds back. He's got his teammate just under 6 seconds. And, I mean, it seems fairly safe at this moment, but we have to really see how these mediums work.
I mean, it's only safe if those tyres don't puncture.
Yeah.
I mean, he can afford to back off a bit if he needs to, but either way, we've not seen anyone use softs at all this race, and that makes sense because they're awful. If there's a late safety car, you might see some people at the back do it, but even then, if you're on mediums that make it, I think you just stay on them. Don't give up track position, especially if you're up front. So, yeah, there's DRS. Already eclipsed there by Ryan, who's sailing off into the distance, probably going to improve on his fast lap, which he already had on hards. Looking for maximum points potentially here.
Yeah, so God Palmer, I must say, has been fairly impressive here since getting that promotion up to Division 1. Got some proper finishes, and he's lined up for another one here, a potential 5th place. He's got some work to do, but it is a possibility.
He's going to manage to get back to Hawksid as well, who, despite spinning, only lost 2 positions and is relatively close to Scott Palmer, if Scott Palmer struggles with the pace or has one mistake, maybe. Dace, of course, on mediums, we're looking to close that 5-second gap in front of him. But it does seem to be increasing, actually, as we speak. Dusty's right behind Bacon here at the tail end of the top 10. One of the few battles here that's within 1 second. In fact, I think it's the only one.
Edgar and Scornsy, but...
Oh yeah, you're right.
Was. Is it?
It's close.
Yeah.
This is the closest battle there is.
Yeah.
It's for 9th place. They're on the same strategy, albeit 1 lap apart on tyre wear.
Well,
similar levels of battery as well.
Race Day's put in a couple of good, or a good lap here at least, initially. Trying to get into DRS, but just cannot catch those 2 McLarens. Caught Balmer still sitting at 6 seconds. Ryan Rod's improving on his fastest lap now, potentially making it untouchable unless someone comes in for a late set of softs, as stated before there. Just got a quick note here.
Actually increased his lead by a second that lap.
A quick note here on Impossible. So he's looking for his first top 10 finish this season.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Definitely a driver capable of getting podiums, you know, let alone top 10s. But yeah, it would be nice to see him in the top 10 coming into the race, and it looks like he's well on his way to do so. In fact, Lansley's now towards the back of this group, and yeah, he'll look to steam through it with those mediums on. Mitch Burns and Tech Thomas swapping positions in the back. We were commenting earlier that Kate was having a good season in the standings, but this race has gone terribly for him.
Yeah. Yeah, but points are points are points, and if anyone understands that logic, it would be the man currently in 15th place, the leader of the Red Bull team, and he's seemingly turned off his battery almost completely in a yellow flag there, and that's Aero Racing Design out and around just at the exit of turn 7. And he's going to slot back in 15th place.
Oh, it's 2/10 difference here between the 2 McLarens, who looked like they had a bit of a scuffle there into the hairpin. Don't know about any contact, but it was certainly close. So Edgar putting the pressure on, trying to get that podium. Dusty has made the move on Bacon into the braking zone. Landsy getting his nose very close to the rear of the Red Bull there.
Landsy gets a really good exit here, and he's going to have Bacon.
Actually, Bacon lets him through. There's no way that was... I mean, it was definitely letting him through. Very low amounts of ERS available to the cars in front of Bacon here, but he has slipped out of the top 10 for the moment. Landsy will look to make the move on Dusty, and then these two will resume their battle for what will be 10th instead of 9th.
And now got Palmer starting to chip away at race day there.
There's 7 laps to go, or 6.5. I wonder how his tyres are. So far, no safety car, which won't be putting a smile on Smith Bell's face.
I think that's Arrow around again.
Yep. But Smith is finally off the bottom of the barrel. He's looking at the back of Sharir as well, so might find himself up 2 places within 1 lap. Would be quite nice for the Alpine man.
A large tale of 2 weeks for Smith Pell there, finishing in Monza, top 5, 5th place. And as well as Aero Racing Design, as Aero and Smith Pell were 4 and 5 last week, and now see themselves bringing up the rear. With Lancy now under pressure there, or sorry, Lancy trying to get Dusty, and Bacon just watching him behind.
Well, Bacon with a massive wobble on the traction there in the background, yeah. But, you know, caught it, no issues there.
Lancy not making an attempt there.
Yeah. Yeah, Smith got close to Sharir as well. Sharir's got basically no battery to defend with, and also the harder tyres that are older. Here comes Smith, going to be looking to make the move on the inside here into turn 1.
Oh, a little contact.
Would have been contact there.
Oh, Lancey very close to Dusty. Have to be very bold to try and make a move somewhere through that part of the track. I mean, it has happened. I believe we saw Race Day do it earlier. Galt Palmer now has that gap to his teammate down to 5 seconds. Although Race Day is holding pretty tight lines to Edgar, but still, once again, just sitting on the outside of DRS. And I'm wondering if Lancey's got it here on Dusty there, trying to get up into 9th. He gets a really good run. It looks like he's going to be able to get it done. He is very low on ERS. And,
it's a bit of a defensive maneuver there from Dusty. Gives himself the inside line, but it's not going to be helpful at all because the entire car is in front before the braking point. And Lancey's made the move work.
Another yellow. Aero Racing finding even more difficulties here, spinning out. Palmer's got that gap to 4.4 now.
Yeah, Race Day's actually relatively close to the cars in front still. It's Palmer that's coming at them all, which is quite impressive from the second Alfa Romeo there.
Well, Race Day's almost lost a second to Edgar because he was at 1.1 back.
That's right. But I think Palmer was almost 6 seconds back, so he's made inroads on that entire bunch in front. These 3 cars in front of him.
Yeah, Palmer can now see.
Continue to squabble over the final podium position.
Yeah, we'll see if Edgar comes at Scornsey here, if there's going to be any sort of team instructions.
No, I don't think so. They're shaping like they're dueling here.
Yeah.
Both of them using the battery.
Is Edgar going to go for it here?
Yes, he certainly is. Base left by both. Scornsey gets way better traction though. And that's really unfortunate for Edgar because he used a lot of battery to try and make that move and wasn't able to complete it. Here he comes again though. Goes for the outside this time. Both of them on the battery again. The nose was slightly in front on Scornsey's vehicle there.
Once again, Scornsey putting it.
He's completely ahead before the left-hand part of this complex, which is key.
Now, even with the McLaren battling, Race Day has dropped down to 3.5 seconds back of these 2 McLarens, and Palmer's almost down to 3 seconds. So some massive time is being taken away there.
Yeah, and that might be the mistakes, or it might be him rolling off the throttle, trying to preserve the tyre. Because he'll know which tyre is his worth, to know which corners he can, roll off a little bit to preserve. It might be calculated. He might have to give up one position. He just has to make sure that in the next 3.5 laps he doesn't get a puncture. Talking of tyres, we've seen soft tyres for the first time on Aero Racing Design in the last place. So we're going for the fastest lap, which will not please Ryan Rodds. He's had it pretty much all race. Edgar now having another look at his teammate. Scornsey has been using the battery though, and he now has less as a result. Edgar won't have a move this time. A bit of a look, but it was never really a realistic threat there.
Yeah, Galt Palmer's really pushing here. He's got no battery. Trying to do as much as he can to close that gap and just force a little bit of pressure on Race Day. And we'll see how much Race Day is going to have left in that tire to battle it. It might come down to a final lap move between the 2 Alfa Romeos. Dusty still hanging around Lancey though. There's potential for a move there for the Ferrari on Lancey later on too, depending on how much tire Lancey has left. Both
Yeah, we were
even.
commenting as well on Bacon maybe having a top 10, but he's sitting just outside that at the moment in 11th.
I knew I was going to commentator's curse that. I just had a feeling.
Sharia also having a look at Smith Bell potentially. 4/10 gap between the two of them.
Aero Racing has come in for the softs, so I'm not sure if
you said that already.
Oh, did you? My mistake.
Yeah.
He is about
if he can grab it.
Yeah, just finishing the final turn here.
I think he's about to do it right now, isn't he?
Yeah. And
And there it is.
Pretty much had his car on a hot lap. He was out of deployment for the lap as he came across the final turn.
He got it by 1.1. Like, it was not even close.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Edgar's looking to preserve some battery, I think, and have a final lap attempt because it's Scornsy on 3% and it's Edgar on 27% right now. Yeah, that probably would be enough if he can come out of the right-hander with maybe 0.5 of a gap or less.
Now 1 second. It looks like EDA is going to be able to get within DRS just on this lap alone.
Oh yeah, that's not the battle. I think Race Day is looking to try and stay in 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think that he needs to worry about his teammate here.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder how much tire he even has left.
Yeah, I just generally feel like he threw away that position by pitting that early. I don't think that was necessary at all. He needed to go another 2 laps at least.
So now a crazy stat here. Scornsy right now looking at hardest charger with 2 positions gained. Tied with Smith Pell, and if Scott Palmer gets through race day, all 3 of them will have 2 positions gained for the hardest charger.
I wonder what the lowest number we've had for hardest charger has been so far. Well, that might be up there.
Yeah.
Once again, no deployment from Edgar that lap, looking to save it for the last attempt. Scornsy 6% currently, so I think that's Edgar's plan. He wants it in the second last turn of the race. Last lap right now. See if he can do it.
Yeah, 2 team battles actually. Or 2 sets of teammates set to battle it out here in the final lap. Palmer was not able to get through race day, and as you said, Edgar seemingly as well potentially lining his teammate up as Dace Hoxted. Yeah. That was very late and unexpected. I didn't even know that was on the cards.
Yeah, I'll admit I hadn't seen that coming either, but Dace does come up right at the last moment there. He still has another sort of lap to defend that, but his tyres are younger and softer, so could be possible. I'd be really surprised if Race Day can hold on to this over Palmer.
Yeah.
Edgar really looking for it here. He's
Yeah.
only 2/10 behind his teammate. I think he set this up perfectly. Almost 50% battery versus 14. Yeah, this is going to be Edgar absolutely pouncing on his teammate, I'd say.
Yeah, he's going to dump it here.
Well played by Edgar. The move's not even done yet, but it really is when you think about it. And there he goes. Just needs to hit his marks in the braking zone as Ryan enters the final corner and is going to win the race in dominant fashion.
Another yellow.
Happening somewhere.
I think that's impossible.
Really unfortunate. Palmer did make the move, by the way, also with DRS on his teammate.
Hawk said switching back Dace. Oh, these two are going to go wheel to wheel now through the finish. Palmer, like you said, will get it, and Dace is not going to give way, trying to go around the inside line.
And actually a corner cut there.
Oh, my goodness, both going off track. And Hoxted takes it in the end.
It worked out fairly. Good move there by Hoxted to get to the right of him at the penultimate corner.
Mm-hmm. And Lusky went off track there as well.
There between Alpha Tauris. I think we had 3 passes between teammates on the last lap.
Yeah. My goodness. Okay, so that had a fairly exciting finish there. That was very well played by all 3 of those drivers to get the overtake done. And unfortunately, Impossible Bacon's streak of not getting a top 10 this season will continue on. But he will crush that at some point, and he'll find some points. The luck has got to end. The monkey surely needs to be almost or completely off his back at this point. And is Arrow Racing out of fuel?
It would seem so. Yeah, with no safety car. It's just a track that you can't under-fuel at, so it doesn't seem like he's out of fuel. It doesn't sound like he is, but it certainly looks like something's weird going on here. Either way, he's going to get the point for fastest lap. And we're going to have all 17 entrants finish the race. No penalties either.
Oh, wait. I don't think Scornsy's going to get fast, or he's going to get hardest charger now.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh, my goodness. I think it's going to actually go to Gott Palmer.
Don't forget you got that extra position on the last lap as well, so...
Yes. Yeah. Well, as last time, I will message him some questions for him to answer. You continue on here. I'm just going to write up some questions for Gott Palmer to answer.
Alright, so it is a 1-2 for Mercedes. 3-4 for McLaren and a 5-6 for Alfa Romeo there. Ryan Rods with a dominant display. He led even on hard tyres. He gets a 5-second margin for victory there in the end. And it's another 5 seconds back to third. Edgar overtaking his teammate right at the death. It's a GSR top 3 as well. Well, top 4 as well. Swansea is technically GSR. And we've got Palmer here in 5th place, making a last lap move on his teammate. Up 2 positions. That might be the hardest charge if Crash is correct on that. Then it's race day. Oxid there, unfortunate to fall out of that lead battle. Ends up 7th. Dace 8th, right behind him. Lanzi and Dusty in the top 10, with Bacon just outside looking in. Then it was Mitch Burns and Scabney in the AlphaTauris. Cake, meaning he was the 4th in a row of Honda powered cars. Then it was Smith Pell who had the early incident. Sharia and Eric around the infield, with Eric getting the extra point for fastest lap. What a race. No safety cars, no retirements, no penalties. That's better than first.
Yes, very good. Sorry, I'm just muted. I'm just frantically typing. So I don't want just to hear like. But yeah, we will have the podium there, and as well questions and answers from Gott Palmer. So podium at Ryan, at Edwin, at Edgar.
I'd also mention that Scornsy, while he may have been a little bit off song, is ill at the moment. So he's done a great job to stay concentrated for the entire race and get a good haul of points, which is going to be key by the end.
And we will also be getting Hell again to round out the 4 in the interview, as it was his 100th race as well this week.
Oh.
Okay. Let me get this set up here. While I do, Jacko, why don't you tell him a story about your sleep yesterday.
Yeah, my what?
Your sleep. Like, was it a
My
good sleep?
sleep?
Yeah, was it a good sleep, bad sleep?
My sleep's terrible. I have several sleeping conditions, and I've got medication for it all over this desk. So that's a long story, and perhaps one that I won't share too much of. But yeah, it's not good. Let's put it that way. And yesterday was no better.
Well, that was a bad topic to randomly
Yeah.
choose.
Not as bad as someone else I know, but yeah. We'll move on from that.
Best of luck with that.
And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Trying to see if there's any other results up from other divisions.
Do you have a question
Not.
for Gott Palmer that I can type him here?
Oh, I put me on the spot there. Maybe is he talking to race day, and were they talking about the strategy there? I'm happy to, you know, have a duel or what? What was going on there with the Alfa Romeo guys?
I reworded it a little bit because he cannot talk to race day.
All right.
He's deaf.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
Yeah, I was in this boat a couple
that's
weeks ago.
super impressive. Wow,
I
you
know.
saying Gott Palmer's deaf?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, honestly. His brother is in this
Wow.
league as well, and he's not deaf. I can't remember who it is.
So a lot of drivers will take sound cues from the game, not
Mhm.
only the engineers, but like when to shift. I don't know if he runs manual, but that would require a lot more concentration if he does.
His brother, okay, Porkchop says his brother's deaf as well. Who's his brother in this league?
Damn.
Palmer, Fireballer. This is his brother.
Fireball, okay.
Yeah, no, it's freaking impressive as all hell, man. That he's able to. It's literally, you got to think it's literally all off of feel.
Yeah, and in that case, obviously, that you can't communicate either. With, I mean,
Mhm.
he could speak too, but I don't know how helpful that would be.
Yeah, maybe prior to. I reworded your question to.
Yeah.
Did you discuss with race day his strategy prior?
Yeah, that's a good question as well.
Okay.
That's wow.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I know.
Very impressed.
Yeah, when I learned that too, I was like, "Holy crap! You're up in Division 2. Now he's Division 1, and like 2 top 5 finishes in a row. Like, man, is it a secret power? Maybe.
Well, I think there's been plenty of talk of what's the word for it? There's science behind if you've lost one sense that your other senses become more potent.
Yes.
So I don't know if that is how that works for everyone and for Palmer in particular, but maybe you should consider it.
Yeah, so like
other directions, but surely it nerfs him a little bit in this game.
I've kind of got like a similar thing to that as well. Like I'm terrible in bed, so like my sight is really good. I've got good vision.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, on to the interviews. You're not even gonna chuckle at that one, Jacko? Like, okay, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
The pity chuckle.
That was a good joke. Come on. Okay. So, anywho, we'll get on to the interviews here. First and foremost, Ryan Rods with a very dominant win. We'll start as he leaves.
Oh.
Ryan Rods, you're muted. Can you hear? It?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
So I just went out.
Okay, no worries. We'll start with your qualifying there. Jacko says that you put a couple weeks ago you said, Jacko, or your prior time there, you put in even
about a month ago.
Yeah, an even better qualifying time than before.
Yeah.
And then you still blew away the lobby there, man. I mean, how comfortable are you here in China? At least
it's definitely my best track, like 100%, not even close to any other track. Like, fun fact, I have a 27 in the world TT lap time around here. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So what makes you so comfortable here then?
I don't know. I feel like in F1 2020, I did a lot of like public races here, and I just got the hang of it since I did so many laps. And ever since, I've been pretty fast around here. It's just always been my track.
Okay. And so then so that must be your number one then, right? Like you're not like top 26 in another track then.
No, that's definitely my number one.
Wow, that's very impressive. So now kind of like maybe to flip it to the other end, what would you say like your worst track is then in comparison? Your kryptonite.
I like to think it's Monaco or Spa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. I
Either
mean,
one of those.
I'll let Jacko go before I take any of the questions.
It's all right. Okay. I'll ask, why, when you know that you have got such pace and you're, as a sort of a championship combatant, even though you lost out a lot of points by missing out last week, why risk an untimely safety car throwing you off your strategy completely by starting on hards?
I don't know. I felt like with the hard, I could just drive a lot more consistent in that first stint because the mediums, as the grip just fades away like very fast, and a very heavy car due to the fuel. I don't know. It just made me a lot less mistake prone. So I just went for the safe route in terms of like my driving, and if there were like any safety cars, I would just cope with it and handle the situation at the best I could.
Okay, that's reasonable. I was just thinking, like, if one came out at around like lap 6, that would really have screwed with you pretty badly, I would think.
Okay, what's weird with this league is just one safety car comes out, another one is almost like guaranteed. You could just check every race that there has been a safety car. There will always be another one. So even if I would just stayed out and there would be another safety car
Oh.
to save me, just easy.
Okay.
Wow.
The risky play. I like
yeah, that's going off of just like the league's law of averages.
Yeah, but yeah, that always happens in Midwest. I remember like every single race at Spa, one safety car comes out. I say like, Edwin, we box because if there's a safety car, we always box. But no, and then someone like not boxes that safety car period, and then another safety car comes out, and they benefit hugely from that.
Hmm. Wow. That's some like
That like
five
always
head
happens.
thinking. Okay.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but I think that applies to people who don't necessarily have a championship, to maybe give up. Like, you can't risk your points like that, surely, as someone who's
I
got
mean,
3 tenths in the bag in qualifying.
is it really that much of a risk considering my pace? Like, I could have
Yeah,
just caught
so it'd be
everyone
hard
up
to
again.
catch back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
you
have
just
caught
passed like
up.
a whole midfield.
Wow.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been passed.
So okay, now to continue on to that actually a little bit, were you maybe could you have pulled away from Edwin like quicker? Or how much were you pulling him along there then?
That's true.
In the second stint or the first stint?
Well, the first stint you let him through. Maybe in the second stint, I guess.
The second stint, I like the gap I was putting in the first few laps was pretty good until the last 5 laps or so, where I started to like back off to just save the tires, get more battery, so I could just push at the last second for the fastest lap. But yeah, that was like 3 to 4 tenths per lap because of the medium advantage is just too much.
Okay. Well, that's you completely opened my eyes to some potential stuff here in the Midwest F1 League that I'm having to be looking to in the future races. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean that's some proper thinking there. But yeah, congratulations, well done, and I mean it's well done on like the top 27 thing. That's bloody well impressive.
Thank you.
No worries. Best of luck and everything, and that's got to be a good start to the first race in 2023, at least for Midwest.
Yeah, man, looking good.
Beautiful. Okay, we'll get on to your teammate there, Mr. Edwin. So now, I mean, hearing honestly what Ryan Rods was saying, and just finishing second and not being too far off of his pace, that's going to be quite a confidence booster for your first race in 2023. If you can unmute yourself there, Edwin.
Yep. I mean, we were practicing this afternoon. I knew I had similar pace with same tires, but the difference in tires was too much, and I wasn't able to hang on with him the second stint. The first one, he was holding pretty good. So yeah, I knew it was gonna be he's finishing first than me.
Yeah, so now him letting you in early or letting you buy early and then was your strategy there in comparison to Scornsy, because I guess that would have been your competition there, was just to pit one lap after him, or did you at all change up your strategy depending on his pit stop there?
No, I mean, I think he had like a moment, and because of that, I was able to get close to him before the DRS zone, and then I was too close to him, so I decided to go for it. We talked about it. We were in the same shot, so I just said, Ryan, I'm gonna go ahead because I'm too close. So I'm decided. We decided, for me to go ahead.
Mm. Yeah. Now, I think this is back-to-back podiums for you, is it not? No, did you podium last week? Oh, sorry, we weren't there.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't do podium last week.
No, yeah, you finished 7th. Okay, so anywho, continuing on to the next couple of races here. We see Saudi Arabia and then Spa. You hear your teammates' most hated track, and then Hungary. I mean, this race has got to feel some confidence going into those and continue on to your Constructors' Championship title bout that you've got going on here with McLaren.
Yep, I mean, he always say that, and he finished first, so don't take that as for sure. But I mean, next races are one of my favorites as well. Are in China and France, so I'm expecting to have good performance on those as well.
All right, good to hear. Well, Jacko, what says you?
Yeah, I think it was a great showing there by both you and your teammate, but P2 looked like probably was as far as you could have got, because Ryan was just so quick. But in that fight, it was a sort of a 4 or 5 car fight in the first stint, but then it sort of broke up into you and Ryan up front, and the two McLarens fell a bit off. Was that important? Do you think that if there was still DRS for those two guys behind you, that it would have been tough to fight them off? Or was it all in that pit phase where you sort of got about a 2.9 second gap that you were sort of safe for the rest of the race?
I do think they had not the same pace as me, for example, but they were pretty good as well. So I think the key there was to fire up the hards earlier than them. I think that was the key, because the first lap after we exit the pits, I just was 2.9, almost 3 seconds ahead of Scorency, and we entered the pits like 0.6 in difference. So yeah, I think firing up, the hards was a key on the strategy that we took.
That's what I observed, and I think that was a really key lap in your race, at least. So well done on that, and congratulations again on the
yeah. But I think I also continue to extend the gap until the finish of the race. I think we finished like 5 point something ahead of the third place.
Yeah, no, you're right. So, you're right. And I think that the other thing though is, like, it's hard to extend a gap if there's the cars behind you have the DRS. So I think it was really important that you pulled out of that gap, and then once you were out of it, you were able to pull away. So yeah, congrats, well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, very well done, Edwin. Best of luck the rest of the season there. Okay, so now we'll get on to Edgar.
Crash?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, sorry, muted in Discord. But okay. Yeah, well done, Edwin, and best of luck the rest of the season. Thank you very much for coming in for the interview.
Thanks to you.
No problem. Okay, here we go. On to Edgar. Finishing third place, seemingly looking at the back of his teammate's tail the entire race, and then putting it all together there and getting that late overtake. I mean, at what point did you feel like you actually had a chance for third place? Was it the entire race, or did you just kind of see something in the last couple of laps of Scornsy struggling maybe?
I think I knew I had the opportunity all race, but if I went ahead, he would just keep in the DRS zone. So I had to wait till the end so I could pass him, so he wouldn't pass me back. because I think we had similar pace. So passing him in the last lap was the best thing for me.
Yeah, I know he was feeling a little bit of pressure because you guys were fairly even on ERS the entire race. Then he kind of dumped it a little bit the lap prior, and then it just it opened things up even wider for you.
To save energy to the last lap, and it worked. It worked just fine. So.
Yes, exactly. Now the one thing that we're seeing from you is a little bit of lack of consistency in your schedule. I mean, now you said that before that you wanted to smash the McLaren curse. I mean, there's only one way to do that. Do you think there's still a good chance to do it, or are these Mercedes just looking too quick this season?
Well, I think it's a bit tough to say because it's still we have still like half the season to go, and you never know what could happen. And the last 2 or 3 races, like luck hasn't been with me because it's not that I've been driving slowly or off the pace. It's like someone just crashes into me and causes damage to my car, and then it's difficult to drive and stay the pace. So it's not that I've been crashing or stuff. It's that I don't know, just people just crash into me, and that's it, and that's my race over. So.
Okay, fair enough. So just you're chalking it up to a little bit of lack of luck so far through the first 7 races now.
Yeah, there have been 3 or 4 races that luck isn't with me. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's the curse.
Yeah, he didn't believe it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to overcome when you're in that papaya orange in Division 1, I must say.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want it happening to me, but then I see the car I'm driving, so.
So you're slowly becoming a believer, maybe then?
Oh no, I'm a full believer now.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Baku, I think I started to believe, so.
Oh, okay. That's good. Well, I mean, you guys are on quite a tear with the Constructors Championship. If any 2 duo that can dethrone these 2 Mercs, then it's you 2. But I'll let Jacko talk before.
Yeah. Talking of the McLaren guys, it was quite a tussle there for P3. But also, I wonder if was there any discussion of whether you sort of slowed each other down a bit too much there, because that battle when you came out of the pits, I think, allowed Edwin to even get even further away, and there was no chance of catching him after that. So, was there any discussion about that?
No, there wasn't really. So just when I got out of the pits, like Scorency was right beside me, so there was nothing I could do, and I wasn't going to slow down. So bad luck. That's it.
Yeah, it's just bad timing, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was always going to pit the lap before you?
No, we didn't discuss any strategy beforehand, so I didn't know how when Scorency was going to pit. So.
Okay. Well,
do you guys
I think
normally
it was a really well executed last lap pass, by the way, and I think he tried to get away from you with maybe 2 or 3 laps to go, but you sort of didn't flinch and didn't use too much battery and stayed close enough to make the move. So I think that was really well executed by you, and good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, do you guys usually have any sort of communication on pit strategies?
We used to, but it didn't pan out because of maybe safety cars or maybe someone crashed into me, and our strategy that we discussed, we couldn't use it. So I think it's better not to discuss it and just go for it, really.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, very well done. Best of luck in the next future races there, Edgar. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
No worries. So now the man that finished in the hardest charger with only 2 positions gained, which was a crazy race. With that being said, there's so many overtakes and everything, and the hardest charger ended up getting 2, unless something changes in the future here. Was EDA Got Palmer. So I asked EDA some questions here, and he got back to me. First of all, I said congratulations on the hardest charger. Did you feel you could get the move on your teammate earlier in the last lap? EDA responded, "First of all, thank you for having me here. I don't think I was going to overtake my teammate. I was trying to defend my position against Hoxid, but the last few laps I realized I could overtake my teammate and debated with myself whether he should or not." Interesting, because Jacko and I had that on the cards for quite some laps, but he never even thought that it was a possibility. And as well, the second question I sent him was, jumping into Division 1 and showing 2 consistent finishes to start his tenure here, how far off of a podium does he think that he is? And then Scott Palmer responded, "I think pretty soon I need to put more time on practice. GSR is tough and on the domination streak right now. My teammate and I need to find a way to dominate for Alfa Romeo." Well, there you go. Maybe a little bit of potential non-GSR duo stepping in to the limelight fairly soon. And then the final question, did you discuss with race day his strategy prior? And then he said, "We have discussed about a strategy after the race. Our conversations stay between us and we are good to go." So no inside information on that answer. That's pretty good.
It makes sense as well, because he's saying he didn't know he had the opportunity to catch up. He wouldn't have known when he pitted then, because then he would have assumed his tires were going off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but very well done to race day there to pull off the last lap past.
Oh, yeah, just in case anyone in here who doesn't know,
like
the podium guys, he did 18 laps on mediums to finish the race.
Was race day.
Why he did that, I'm not sure, but he did it.
Yeah, he started on the hards and then went to that strategy in the end. I mean, maybe a little bit of a learning curve there for China. Maybe Ryan Rods could potentially give him some tips on strategies in the future. But I mean, I guess that's I'm hoping to get Helg in here. Maybe a quick little congratulations from all the drivers, because this is Helg's 100th race for the Midwest F1 League. So yeah, I want to say congratulations to the guy. Maybe. No. Okay.
No.
Thank you, drivers. But yeah, massive congratulations to Helg. Doesn't seem like he's stopping in for the interview here this evening. Hopefully we'll have 100 more races with Helg. No one likes him, says Pork Chops. That's ruthless. Oh God. But yeah, just a quick little thing, I guess, just on my history with Helg. I mean, anytime I've been around him for now 2.5 years, and nothing but proper conversations that I had with the guy. Very genuine dude, and a very intelligent man. Don't tell Pork I said that. But nothing but best wishes to Helg, and a big congratulations on hitting the century mark. And being such a big part of Midwest F1 League, it wouldn't be where it is as well without his efforts. So thank you very much, and congratulations once again. You want to say anything?
Absolutely, well done, Helg.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jacko. But okay, that seems like it's about it for us here at the Midwest F1 League. Hopefully everyone did enjoy what was on schedule this evening. If you are unfamiliar with the sponsors, Epos Gaming at Raise Energy, and as well as Sim Racer Coin, go check those all out for all of your needs there with energy drinks and high quality audio products. So, I mean, that's about it for me there, Jacko. You got anything?
Nothing from me to add other than, are you going to be around for tomorrow's 100% race?
No, I've got a soccer game.
Okay. Oh, fair enough.
Yes.
All right, well, that's where I'll be. And then I guess the next Midwest race together will be us here in 7 days' time for Saudi Arabia, was it?
I believe, yes, it was. I think so. So that'll be fun.
It'll be chaos. That's what it will be.
Yes,
Many
it
more
will.
DNFs, penalties, and safety cars than this race was.
Watch there be a race. Watch that be the race where there's one safety car and nothing after. Completely demolishing Ryan Rod's theory.
That's right.
That'd be funny. Okay, but hopefully we'll see you then. I'm not sure if Jacko might drop down to Division 3 next week. That might be fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everyone did enjoy what was on display for you. And hopefully you go check out all the social media channels as well, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go fuck yourself. So, everyone, have a good evening. As per usual, I've been Crash McQueen. I've been joined by my Australian counterpart, that being Elma Jacko. Hopefully you enjoyed everything tonight. We've been the Midwest F1 League. Have a good night.
See you guys.